الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا اللهم بما علمتنا وزدنا اللهم علما وعملا إنك ولي ذلك والقادر عليه. أما بعد، فهذا درسنا في شرح الفصول في سيرة الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم، وكنا وقفنا عند فصل يعني المتعلق بتحويل القبلة وفرض الصوم. So we are continuing in the seerah that we left off in the events which happened when the Prophet ﷺ first went to Al-Madinah. And we mentioned some of those events in the first couple of years. To summarize, we mentioned the brotherhood he made between the Ansar and the Muhajirin. He built the Masjid al-Nabawi before that, and he went on to make the pact with the people of Medina to establish himself and make everything upon organization, and that there should be strict rules applied between the groups of Al-Madinah. There was the Muslimun, wal-Mushrikun, wal-Yahud. Three groups are living in Al-Madinah, all different background. So they have to have some organization of how to deal with one another and some laws and regulation. Then he started, and the jihad was revealed, and we talked about jihad was the early battles, which there wasn't much fighting. It was more, opportunities were there. There was one or two, there was some fighting, but most of them was just they were trying to get a caravan from the mushrikeen to try to take the possessions and hurt the economy of the Quraysh, because Quraysh, as Allah mentioned, يعني سورة قريش لإلاف قريش رحلة الشتاء والصيف, that they used to go to Asham, to the Jordan area, in the winter and the summer. And these caravans were huge caravans, lots of trade, lots of opportunity to attack their economy and weaken them. So that was the purpose. And then after these battles, towards the end, in the second year, we're now in the second year after the Hijrah. The Hijrah, we said, was in the 13th year from the Mab'ath. Prophet ﷺ was in Mecca for 13 years. And then he migrated to Al-Madinah. Now we're 2 years after the migration, about 16 months, you could say. This is when the Qiblah was changed. Allah revealed that the Qiblah, يعني اتجاه الصلاة كان في مكة وصدر المبعث أو صدر المهجر إلى بيت المقدس. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يوم فرض الصلاة في مكة يتجه بيت المقدس، وأول قدومه إلى المدينة استمر على ذلك حتى أنزل الله تحويل القبلة من بيت المقدس إلى البيت الحرام، وذلك كان في شهر شعبان، وقيل في شهر رجب في السنة الثانية. والمهم أنه ثبت في الصحيح أنه كان 17 شهرا أو 16 شهرا من مقدمه المدينة، وجاء ذلك في الصحيحين من حديث البراء بن عازب. So this was mentioned in Al-Bukhari and Muslim, that about 16 months or 17 months after the migration to Al-Madinah, Allah revealed the change of the Qibla. It's in the hadith in Bukhari and Muslim. So this was, we mentioned the Prophet ﷺ, when the prayer was ordered, was obligated, was when? Who remembers when was what event was the obligation of the prayer? They used to pray before that, but the obligation, 5 daily prayers, was when? Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj. And there's different opinions. The scholars say what year that was, but many scholars say سنة قبل الهجرة، يعني في السنة الثانية عشرة قبل أو بعد المبعث، وقيل قبل الهجرة ب5 سنين، بخمس سنين. So the Isra al Miraj was, some scholars say, the 12th year from the revelation. Well, so that would be 1 year before the Hijrah. Okay? Some scholars say 5 years before the Hijrah. The point is, very for maybe one, so you could say 1 year. So from the time the obligation of the Salah on the, say, the 12th year, he spent 1 year in Mecca. The Masjid al-Haram is right in front of him, and he can't pray to it. Okay, he has to pray to Jerusalem, and this was difficult upon him sallallahu alaihi wasallam لأن هذا بيت الله الكعبة. فقيل أنه كان يجعل الكعبة بينه وبين بيت المقدس، يعني يستقبل بيت المقدس لكن يجعل الكعبة بينه وبينه. So he said that he used to so much he wanted to love to pray to the Kaaba. He used to pray as Allah ordered to the Jerusalem, but he would say that's the direction of Jerusalem. Okay, and so instead of so he would instead of praying from here, right, say this is the Kaaba. Okay, he would come behind the Kaaba, you see, so that he could pray to both. Okay, but he's praying in the direction of the Jerusalem. Okay, and he used to look in the skies, as Allah mentioned. وَقَدْ نَرَى تَقَلُّبَ وَجْهِكَ فِي السَّمَاءِ. He used to hope that the Qibla would be changed. فَلَنُوَلِّيَنَّكَ قِبْلَةً تَرْضَاهَا. Allah said, and we're going to make you face the Qibla that you want, that you wish for. فَوَلِّ وَجْهَكَ شَطْرَ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ. So turn your face to the direction of the Masjid al-Haram. Now, wherever you are, you see, if this was not in Mecca, this was revealed in Medina, we said, about 16 months after the migration. So now he's finally, Allah allowed him to pray to فَوَلِّ وَجْهَكَ شَطْرَ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ وَحَيْثُمَا كُنْتُمْ فَوَلُّوا وُجُوهَكُمْ شَطْرَ. And wherever you are, then direct yourself to the Masjid al-Haram. Okay, so now he's in Al-Madinah. Okay, so he's now where? In Shamal. He's now in the north, right? So where are they praying before this ayah was revealed? Where are they praying? They're praying to north, to Sham. And where is the Kaaba? South. So they have to turn 180 degrees to turn to the Kaaba. يعني الجهة مغايرة تماما, exactly opposite. حتى أن بعضهم صلوا جزءا من الصلاة حين نزلت هذه الآية إلى بيت المقدس، والجزء الآخر استداروا اتجاها للبيت الحرام. And some of these Masajid al-Madinah, all of them Masajid al-Madinah, they pray to both. Okay? It's not like some people say there's Masjid al-Qiblatain. Okay? Some scholars say there's nothing specific, Some scholars say there's no specific virtue to one masjid. All the masajid, they prayed to both Qiblas. Because before the revelation of this ayah, they were praying to Jerusalem. And after the revelation of this ayah, they're praying to Kaaba. So they did pray to both Qibla. All the masajid are Qiblatain. Masjid al-Nabi, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he prayed to the Bayt al-Maqdis. And then he prayed later, after this ayah, to Kaaba. So same in Quba, same thing. So so the point is, some of the masajid, though, they had to pray, they had to change their direction in the middle of the prayer. First of all, when was it revealed? We said on the 16th month. Which prayer was the first prayer? ما هي أول صلاة صلاها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إلى بيت الحرام؟ قيل صلاة الظهر وقيل صلاة العصر. There's different opinions. Some scholars say it was the Dhuhr on that day, was the first prayer he prayed to Kaaba. Some scholars say it was Asr. Okay? And then Masjid Quba, they didn't get the news until Fajr the next day. Okay? Because it took some time to go to that, masjid. So the Maghrib passed and they're still praying to Bayt al-Maqdis. Isha, still praying. Fajr, a man comes, one man from Masjid Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, passed by the Rijal fi Masjid Quba, أعلنهم أن القبلة قد تخيلت فاستداروا وهم يصلون كان الإمام في الشمال واستداروا تماما إلى جهة الجنوب وكذلك المصلون ويحتاج هذا إلى حركات كثيرة ولكن هذه الحركات يعني لمصلحة الصلاة بل هي واجبة لاتجاه القبلة الواجبة فهي يعني مغفور عنها. And so they had to walk a lot. The Imam is facing here, okay, facing that way, and then the Qibla, say that's north, and then the ayah is revealed. They were in Quba, and the news came to them in Fajr. They already started praying to the north. Imam is in the north, and then they get the information, and he has to turn all the way around to the south. So they has to, in the middle of the prayer, they didn't break out of the prayer, and they had to do all this movement. And then all the men, Jama'ah, had to do the same, and the women the same. And all this is allowed, okay? This shows that the movement for the benefit of the prayer is allowed. And there's many narrations to that effect. For all this movement, it was allowed in the prayer because they had to do it. Now,
How would it work though if everybody who's praying had to turn 180? Because then the woman would be in front of them.
yeah, the men would have to all go in front of back in front of the women. They all have to move, just like the Imam. Just like the Imam has to turn and go around all the group, the men would have to go around the women.
Did it specifically say when this happened, they were in the middle of a prayer?
It says that in Quba, for the Masjid Quba, it's reported that it happened. Yeah, like this Hadith Ibn Umar. There was only one man who informed them. Only one man came. This shows that we accept the narration and news from even one man. Like Hadith al-Ahad. Some people say, no, you have to have at least three narrators or three people bring you the information, and they all have to be trustworthy, or some say five, some say seven, whatever. But the point is, the evidence is the Sahaba, they accepted from one man only, as long as he's truthful. And all the Sahaba were truthful. So, of course, if he's a liar or you don't know him, then Allah said, don't accept. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا جاءكم فاسق بنبأ فتبينوا. Allah said, if a sinful, wicked person comes to you with some news, then check it out, confirm. Okay, perhaps you'll cause fitna. This is what a person who's wicked. How about a person you don't know him from anyone? He's just a new person. Then still, the scholars say, don't accept, because he may be a wicked person. Don't reject, but don't accept. Okay, check it out. Also, the wicked person, don't reject him, but don't accept him. He may be telling the truth, okay? But you have to check it out. You have to confirm. And also the person you don't know him, you have to check him out. But the person you know him, and he's a truthful person, and he's a religious person, and he doesn't lie, and he's good memory, and so on, you have to accept him, like these Sahaba they did. So there's a lot of hadith that we have to accept. Some people say no, in Aqidah we don't accept hadith ahad. This is a innovation that's not based upon the Sunnah. Sunnah is we accept. So therefore the ما الحكمة هناك حكمة من جعل الله قبلة القبلة الأولى إلى جهة بيت المقدس وإلا كان في إمكان الله سبحانه وتعالى بقدرته أن يجعل القبلة إلى البيت الحرام من أول صلاة. لكن لماذا جعل القبلة قبلة الأولى ثم الثانية؟ هي امتحان كما قال الله تعالى وما جعلنا القبلة التي كنت عليها إلا لنعلم من يتبع الرسول ممن ينقلب على عقبيه وإن كانت لكبيرة إلا على الذين هدى الله وما كان الله ليضيع إيمانكم إن الله بالناس لرؤوف رحيم. بالمؤمنين إن الله بالناس لرؤوف رحيم. So what is the wisdom, some people may ask, that we have to pray, or there was a prayer to Bayt al-Maqdis? Of course, now we only pray to Bayt al-Haram. Okay, that's هذه قبلة منسوخة. There's no one can pray to Jerusalem and say, oh, this was valid. No, it's abrogated. Just like other rulings that were in place at first, and then they're changed. Like there was a permission to drink alcohol in the early Islam, to the early Muslims, and then no one can say and go to that ayah and say, oh, it was allowed, and so I'm going to drink alcohol. No, this is abrogated now. No one can use that old evidence. Similarly here, no one can pray to the old Qibla. They have to pray to the new one. But why, someone may ask, why is the wisdom? Allah said, what's the wisdom? He said, we did not make the Qibla that you used to pray to, Bayt al-Maqdis, except that we should make known who would follow the messenger versus the one who would turn on his heels. When he turned back, he said, no, I don't want to go pray to Kaaba. I don't accept it. Okay, some people, they have disease in their heart. They said, no, we want to pray to Jerusalem, and we like that. We'll be Muslim as long as we pray to Jerusalem. As soon as you change our Jerusalem, we're not Muslim anymore. To see who is really sincere. يعني ليبين الصادق من الكاذب والمؤمن من المرتاب, to clarify who is the truthful one from the liar. Because anyone can claim when things go his way, when things are according to what he likes. Okay, I'm Muslim, I'm going to be a Sunni. As soon as something comes, it goes against his desire. No, I don't like it. I want my way. That's in the hadith. Allah, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يكون هواه تبعا لما جئت به. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, none of you truly believes until his desire is according to that which I came with. His likes, meaning he puts his I like aside. It's not what I want, it's what Allah wants from me. So that's the test. But and therefore, many people, they failed the test. Okay, when this qibla was changed, some people, they started to make fun. سيقول السفهاء من الناس ما ولاهم عن قبلتهم التي كانوا عليها. The foolish ones will say, what caused them to change from this qibla to that qibla? Like the Jews, mockery, who make defamation and make try to put people down, and others, munafiqeen, they'll say, what is this? One day you're facing south, next day you're praying north, maybe tomorrow you're going to pray east, maybe then west. What's this game? No, this is the test. That's the test. What's the jawab? When they say, why you change? Say, قُلْ لِلَّهِ الْمَشْرِقُ وَالْمَغْرِبُ. Say, Allah, He has the east and the west. Mean the order. الْأَمْرُ لِلَّهِ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَمِنْ بَعْدُ. الشرع شرع والحكم حكم يحكم بما شاء سبحانه وتعالى وعلينا السمع والطاعة. ليس لنا الحكم وليس لنا أي شيء في الشأن، إنما علينا الطاعة والامتثال. So why? So the answer, Allah said, the answer is simple. Why is it changed from this direction to this direction? Say, to Allah belongs the east and the west. يهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. He guides whoever He wills to the straight path. So this is the guidance. The guidance is, Allah said, سمعنا وأطعنا وما كان لمؤمن ولا مؤمنا إذا قضى الله ورسوله أمرا إلا أن يقولوا سمعنا وأطعنا. It is only for the believing man or woman, when Allah orders something, that they should say, we hear and we obey. So they say, we hear and we obey. This is the bir. This is the piety. And those who fail this test, they, even if Allah wants to order us in 2 prayers to pray to the east and the 3 prayers to pray in the same day. قُلْ لِلَّهِ الْمَشْرِقُ وَالْمَغْرِبُ. If Allah wants to make us to pray half the prayers to the east and the other half in the day to the west, that's Allah's order. It's His religion. Okay, we're just servants. We're just here to obey. And the test is, man huwa al-abdu lillah. Because Islam is to be abd, servant. He does what his master tells him. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We belong to Allah, to Him we return. We're servants. So this is the test. And that's the birr. Therefore Allah said, وَلَيْسَ الْبِرَّ أَن تُوَلُّوا وُجُوهَكُمْ قِبَلَ الْمَشْرِقِ وَالْمَغْرِبِ وَلَكِنَّ الْبِرَّ مَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ. Al-ayah. And then that's why Allah said what in the same surah, Surah Al-Baqarah, piety and goodness is not that you should face east or west. That's not the sign. When you're facing Jerusalem, you're good. And this way you're bad. And this is not the. No, the true piety is to believe in Allah and His angels and so on, and His book, and to believe in the pillars of the religion, of Iman, uh, and then worship according to it. So this was the event that happened. So any questions on that one? The changing of the Qibla?
How about before the phones that shows the Qibla and somewhere you don't know where is the Qibla at and you want to pray. There is no
Uh,
people to inform you.
I mean, Allah put the stars, that's to guide. Allah said, uh, وعلامات والنجوم وبالنجوم هم يهتدون. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that we see guidance from the stars, the constellations, because they're in the same place, in one location every time. So this is east,
Yeah, this is not, this is south.
this is west, this south, this all this you can tell by in the night, and also the sun, by the setting in the west and the east, and so on. So these are because the moon, the stars, Allah said there are three purposes for the stars. Okay, Allah mentioned in the Quran the stars for the zina, for the first heaven. It's a beautification. It's a decoration for this heaven. وَرُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينَ, and to hit the shayateen, to run them away because they try to steal the wahi, whatever Allah reveals of the decree or anything through His angels. They come to try to steal that information. So Allah sends the shooting star or part of the star to chase them away. So that's the second purpose. The third purpose is as a guidance for us by the seeking direction and so on. But they don't have any effect. Some people, they say, astrology or astrologists, they say the stars have an effect upon the people and what's going to happen in the earth. That has no basis. They say if you're born in this sign, and they have the what's it called, the horoscope, and they check every day. Some people, this is how their life is. Every morning they check their horoscope. Alhamdulillah alladhi hadana lil Islam. Some people, they're on such stupid superstitions and ignorance. They have to check the newspaper to tell them what to do today. Oh, I was born on this date, on this month. Well, that means that, I should stay home today. And he doesn't go to work. Who knows what kind of nonsense? I'm going to have an accident today. No, this is because of what the stars. Okay, and so that's one way people can tell. And there's others. They had the compasses for a long time, though. The compass. Even if a person doesn't have a phone, the compass has been there for a long time. Um, some they have, a place have these big compasses, compass on the ground, and other ways Allah Subhanahu wa Taala makes easy. Any other questions on the Qibla?
I think his question was more if he doesn't know at all.
Or if you don't know at all?
What to do?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can ask, someone. So a person, yes, that's a good question. A person doesn't have a phone, and he doesn't have a compass. He doesn't know how to read the constellations. Then he can ask someone. If there's no one to ask, you can even wait. If the prayer, for example, has some time to it, you don't have to pray right away. You can wait till maybe you're gonna, if you think you're gonna find somebody. If you're in the middle of the desert, you're not gonna find anybody. Then you go ahead and pray.
Final not well for somebody.
Yeah, you just make ijtihad. Yeah, and there's no problem, even if you're wrong. You tried your best. Yeah, you tried your best to find out, but you couldn't find. You pray any direction, and acceptable. Allah will. إن الله لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah doesn't burden you more than you can your ability. Yeah. Any other questions? طيب. So then after the second thing that we'll talk about today is the obligation of fasting. Okay. So the first obligation of Islam was a tawheed. Okay, that was on day one. Okay, then second obligation of salah. We say maybe 12 years passed. Then a salah. Then a sawm. Fasting was on the about second year of hijrah. So you could say from the revelation about 15 years later. 15 years there was no fasting for the first 15 years, Muslim. No obligatory fasting of Ramadan. Ramadan. So the author said, قال الحافظ رحمه الله وفرض صوم رمضان وفرضت أجله زكاة الفطر قبله بيوم. And the fasting of Ramadan was obligated, meaning on the second year from the migration. And obligated because of it was zakatul fitr. Because zakatul fitr فريضة متعلقة بالصوم بفطر والفطر هو الفطر من صوم رمضان قبله بيوم أو يومين. And along with the obligation of fasting comes zakatul fitr, because zakatul fitr is connected to fasting. It's the zakat we give by the weight or the measures of the grain, about kilos and so on, and that we give grains, food on the before the fitr, طهرة للصائم وطعمة للمساكين. As the Prophet ﷺ said, the zakatul fitr is a purification for the fasting person, because all of us, we make mistakes. Even Ramadan, we make mistakes. We may have some deficiency. We may say something we're not supposed to say and do something we're not supposed to do. So to make up for that, Allah gives us a chance to pay the zakat al-fitr, whoever is able, who has money, for each person in his family, and also as a tu'ma lil masakin, as a food for the poor people, because some people on the day of Eid and otherwise they don't have food. Okay, so they should be able to enjoy and feed their families adequately. So that's the purpose of zakat al-fitr, as we know. So this was also the on the second year of the migration. So we've also, some scholars say الزكاة في خلاف متى فرضت. قيل أنها فرضت في نفس السنة الثانية من الهجرة. Then there's the zakah, the obligation of zakah was, some scholars say, at the same year, second year of hijrah. Also much late, very late. وبقي الحج من الأركان الخمس، أركان الخمسة ما هي؟ الشهادة أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمد رسول الله وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة وصوم رمضان وحج البيت من استطاع إليه سبيلا. والحج فرضت في السنة التاسعة متأخرا جدا في السنة التاسعة. So the Hajj, the last of the pillars, because the pillars of Islam are 5, the Shahadatain, which is a Tawheed, and then prayer, prayer, zakah, fasting, and Hajj. Hajj was in the 9th year from the migration, very late, right 1 year before the end of the revelation. So we benefit from this timeline, something that Sheikh Abdur-Razak Badr, Hafidullah, he mentioned in his lectures on the book, that there was no obligations except Tawheed for most of the religion, most of the revelation. 12 years, you could say. The majority, almost. The time period of revelation is 23 years. Okay, 13 years in Mecca, 10 years in Medina, 23 years. For 12 years, there was no prayer, obligatory, no fasting, no zakah, no hajj. Only tawheed, only al-ikhlas, إخلاص العبادة لله. وهذا يدل على عظم هذا الركن. بل التوحيد هو أساس الدين كله، والأعمال كلها لا تقبل إلا إذا أتى الإنسان بهذا الشرط. أي عمل عمله الإنسان من صلاة أو زكاة أو حج أو صوم وهو مشرك بالله عموما أو في هذه العبادة رياء مثلا أو سمعة، فهي مردودة عليه، لا يقبلها الله سبحانه وتعالى لعظم التوحيد. والتوحيد مكانه في القلب، ما نراها. الله سبحانه وتعالى هو الوحيد الذي يعلم من هو موحد أو مشرك، مخلص أو كاذب أو مشرك. Also, التوحيد, why is it so important? Why was most of the Islam dedicated to implanting this and nurturing this foundation before any actions were obligated? Because it's so important. It is the basis, it's the foundation of the person's religion. Rather, none of these other actions, not prayer, not fasting, not zakah, not hajj, none of them are accepted from a person, even if he makes hajj 20 times. Okay, every year. Some people, they make hajj every year. Okay, but they're not accepted if they don't come with the first, pillar and the foundation, which is tawheed. Tawheed, this is very important. It's critical. So the Prophet ﷺ was nurturing for 12 years until Allah saw that the people were ready to now take on actions. They started to act. And these actions will not bring the fruit, unless it's on this foundation. So a person always has to check himself, his intention. Okay? إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, before he does any action. Am I doing this for Allah? Okay, or am I doing it to show off? Am I doing it for money? Am I doing it for fame? And so on. And of course, we're not talking about idol worship. Idol worship, obviously, this is obvious, But there's shirk is not just asnam. Some people think, oh, I don't pray to an idol, so I'm not mushrik. No, it's much bigger than that. It's much more tricks. The shaitan has many more tricks than idol worship. No, a person could, for example, fall into al-ghulu fi salihin. He may fall into, exaggeration about the pious people. Okay, لذلك some people يذهبون للحج أو عمرة ويقعون في الشرك وهم أمام الكعبة ويقولون مدد يا شيخ فلان، أو يتجهون. أنا رأيته بعيني وهو في المدينة متجها لقبر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بالدعاء في وقت استجابة الدعاء، يعني وقت بعد صلاة الفجر، هو لا يتجه إلى الكعبة، يتجه إلى قبر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. الحمد لله الذي هدانا. Some people, they don't get this, they don't understand the importance of this tawheed, and they say la ilaha illallah every day. They make hajj every year. I've seen them, they go to hajj, and after fajr, I saw one time people, they're making dua. Good time to make dua, right? At the morning, but they're not. I noticed they're not looking at they're not facing the Kaaba. They're in Masjid al-Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, al-Medina, but they're not facing to the direction, but they're facing to the dome, the green dome, over the grave of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, making shirk. Okay, because they didn't understand that this is the most important thing that they've been, bound by. This is the religion. Okay, so many times, a lot of ayat Allah revealed way before there was prayer. Allah said, "Wa'budu Allah wa la tushriku bihi shay'a." Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, worship Allah alone and don't make shirk with Him. Okay, these ayat were revealed, and there's no prayer and no fasting and no hajj. Okay, so how are they worshiping? How are they worshiping Allah? With their hearts. Okay, and other actions, but primarily this is a matter of the heart. We don't know Only Allah knows who is sincere and who is not. But there's certain signs, but this is a matter that a person nurtures himself, every day upon this matter of making his heart pure for Allah. And the Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah has nice words on this matter, since we're talking about the order of the revelation, how Tawheed was 12 years, nothing else, then and only then prayer, and then 3 years later the fasting, zakat, and then Hajj way later. He said, rahmatullahi alayh, this beautiful words. قال الشيخ ابن تيمية رحمه الله: وأنا أقول لكم إن أعمال القلوب أشد من أعمال الجوارح. He said, I tell you, I tell you that the actions of the heart are much more grave and important than the actions of the limbs. Okay? Actions of the heart are much more important than the actions with our bodies. أعمال الجوارح يستطيع الإنسان بكل سهولة أن يفعلها. Getting up, doing movements with the actions, any person can do that easily. Okay? As long as they have control of their limbs, anyone can do that. It's not that hard. يستطيع الإنسان مثلا في الصلاة أن يقف ولا يتحرك. For example, a person can stand for a period of time and not move in prayer. He can pray and not move. إلى آخر ما تعرفونه من صفات الصلاة, and to the end of the actions of the prayer. يستطيع بكل سهولة. Easily he can do that. لكن أعمال القلوب من المحبة لله والتعظيم له والخوف منه والرجاء له هذا أمر صعب جدا جدا. But he said the actions of the heart, such as loving for Allah, for example, and magnifying Allah, seeing Allah as the greatest and most important thing to him, and respecting Allah and his limits, wal khawf, and fearing Allah and his punishment, and hoping in his reward, that's a very difficult thing. Like al-mahabba lillah, that a person is tested sometimes. ومن الناس من يتخذ من دون الله أندادا يحبونهم كحب الله. That Allah said there's some people who take rivals with Allah, partners, okay? Partners with Allah, they love them like they love Allah. Some people, they're tested, they have maybe a friend they grew up with, family member, even parents, but they're upon falsehood, okay? And they call them to falsehood and share with them in falsehood. And he loves this parent, of course, naturally. We all love our parents. He loves this friend. He grew up with him. He's his buddy. Okay? And he's telling him, come with me to this thing. Okay? Why are you doing that? No. Why do you believe this thing? No, this nonsense. And he's shy from his one he loves. So then he loves this person as a rival to Allah. No, Allah says do this. Allah said believe this. If he truly loved Allah, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِ. If you truly love Allah, then follow me. Follow the legislation. But he says no, it's tough for him. In his heart, the love is not there for Allah. So he says, I'll be with my buddy, I'll follow my parents, I'll do this and that because I love them. Okay, that's he didn't do, the action of the heart, Tawheed, fi khalal. This is the deficiency in Tawheed, that we're talking about. Nasallahu salama. There's Allah's protection from that. Even a person may love himself. Yeah, he may love himself more than he loves Allah. Meaning he thinks that he has certain knowledge or certain level. This could happen. A person he says I've had this much experience and this much knowledge and so on, and so I'm just going to do it the way I think. Okay, and I think I trust myself. I trust my judgment. This is a big pitfall for people. No, we don't trust our judgment. No, who are we? Therefore, we say in the morning in the adhkar, we say, يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك أستغيث أصلح لي شأني كله ولا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين. We're supposed to say in the morning and the night in the adhkar. And Allah, by your mercy, I seek protection and salvation. Do not entrust me to myself, even the glance of an eye. Meaning, I don't want to depend on myself. Doesn't mean that we don't act. I'm just saying this is in the heart. Okay, it's in the heart that we say, I put my trust in Allah, and then I do. Okay, Allah said, فَاعْبُدْهُ وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَيْهِ. We don't trust ourselves. We do. We have to work, but the result is not in our hand. Okay? Any power we have, نحن أقوياء بالله. Any power or strength we have of worship, even whatever good actions we do, prayer, fasting, anything, we give zakah. It's not us. Allah helped me. Okay? Allah helped me do. So that's the person always has to remind himself. If he starts thinking I did and I did and I did, then he failed the test. And now, ماذا قال قارون؟ قال إنما أوتيته على علم عندي. When Qarun was told to be humble and to remember Allah and not be, arrogant, this goes along with arrogance usually. People who are I am and I'm so special and I have so much knowledge and I have this much experience and this and that, they become arrogant. And so when Qarun was arrogant and told to be humble, he said, "I was this knowledge. I got it. Because, this treasures, this money I had because of my knowledge. You see, because I'm a very smart person. You see, and I studied hard, and I have this many degrees, and this and that. As people say, I'm a doctor. You understand what I'm saying? Some people they say I have this many letters after my name. You see that? What is this? This is not. This is Sunnat Qarun. Yadam billah. This is what Qarun said. So we're not amazed by ourselves. يعني ما نغتر بهذه الشهادات وهذا العلم. No, we say Allah taught me this knowledge. Allahumma allimna ma yanfa'una. We say Allah teach us that which Allah said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَعَلَّمَكَ مَا لَمْ تَكُنْ تَعْلَمْ. Allah told the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we taught you that which you didn't know. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't know the details of the religion. He didn't know. Allah taught him. So who are we to think we have the knowledge? So he said, to complete this, on this topic, he said, وَهَذَا أَمْرٌ صَعْبٌ جِدًّا جِدًّا. That a person should, dedicate his actions of the heart to Allah from fear and hope and love and magnification. حتى إن بعض السلف يقول ما أعالجت نفسي على شيء معالجتها على الإخلاص. Some of the Salaf, the famous statement they used to say, I did not struggle with my soul as much on anything the way I had to struggle upon ikhlas, to be sincere in my worship. Sincere, that a person, like we said, doesn't say, that I did. That's part of it. Also, he's not worried about what people think. He's focused. He's basically blind to himself. He doesn't see himself and what he did, and he's also blind to the people. Meaning, he's not concerned what they think. No, he's only concerned what does Allah see from him. Okay, this is ikhlas. This is the struggle. And he said they used to struggle. They said I did not struggle with my soul close to anything like I struggled with upon ikhlas. الذي هو لب العبادة, which is the source and the core of the worship. الواحد منا, now he gives warning, the Shaykh. One of us يرى أنه ما شاء الله أكمل الناس. Shaykh says, so some of us we think he's talking to the students. He says, some of us, we think of ourselves, I'm the best, I'm the most complete, because he's looking at other people. He's thinking he's something special. Ikhlas and wa tawakkula, in sincerity and tawakkul, I think I'm good, my heart is good. وما أشبه ذلك, and things like that. لكن لو ينظر ويلتفت قليلا وجد أن القلب كله خروق يحتاج إلى من يرقئه. But rather, if he self-inspected a little bit, instead of just praising himself, if he looked inside a little bit, he would find his heart has holes in it. He has to be patched up. yani, holes come from these things. These diseases come. I'm amazed with myself. I'm showing off. I'm maybe diseases like is envious of other people. Okay, hates somebody because he's from this country or he's that color. Or these are diseases. These may not show on the body, but they're in the heart. Okay, or this person is below me, or this person is nothing. All these things they come. I don't like this guy because he's this. All these things they come in the heart. So he has to. He said, some of us we look inside, we got all these problems. We have to fix up, but we think we're so great. Okay. Uh, فأعمال القلوب أنا أحثكم ونفسي أو أبدأ بنفسي في الحقيقة على اعتبارها وملاحظتها دائما. He said, so the action of the heart, to conclude, I encourage you and me. Rather, he said, I encourage myself, first and foremost, to recognize these actions and to correct them. وأظن والله أعلم أن الله ما شرع الطاعات إلا كالسور للحديقة. Then he gave an example. He said, I think by Allah, that what, and Allah knows best, that Allah did not legislate these worships, these actions from prayer and fasting and zakat and hajj and like, except like the fence around a house or around a garden. You have a garden and you have fence. Okay? حماية للأصل الذي هو القلب, as a protection for the garden, which is the heart. The garden is the heart. And these actions are a protection around it, a fence. لأن الطاعات بمنزلة السور تحفظ القلب. فإذا اعتنى الإنسان بالسور لكن أهمل الحديقة إيش الفائدة؟ So a person, for example, has a garden and he has a fence, okay? And all the time he's taking care of the fence, making sure it's straight, the posts are there, okay? It's not bending, there's no holes in it. All the time but he's not looking after the garden. What's the benefit, right? That's foolishness. ولهذا يجب علينا أننا نعتني بأعمال القلوب اعتناء كاملا. So a reasonable person would focus on the most important thing, which is the garden, which is the action of the heart, okay? And protect that with the fence also, but not at the absence of the garden. So that's what the Shaykh said, rahmatullahi alayhi, rahmatan wasi'ah. Very nice statement that he made. And inshallah, we'll conclude there. And then next class, inshallah, we're going to get to the أمهات المعارك ويعني الغزوات العظام التي شارك فيها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بدءا بغزوة بدر الكبرى. Next class, inshallah, we're going to get into the battles that we said we're going to get into. And these are the great battles. There's great ones like Badr, like Uhud, like Khandaq or Ahzab, like all these battles. And we'll mention, them by name. And also the Quran, that's important because many ayat in the Quran are revealed concerning these battles. For example, Badr, okay, is mentioned in Ali Imran, okay, and or Uhud, I'm sorry, in Ali Imran, okay, and others. These battles are mentioned. Ahzab mentions Khandaq and other battles. So to understand these ayat from the Quran, it's important, to know the seerah. As we mentioned in the beginning of this class, that to truly understand the Quran, a person has to know seerah, okay, because the Quran was revealed according to the events of the seerah, and one of the greatest events of the seerah are these battles, okay, and we'll find that in these ayat. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us that knowledge and to benefit us with it. والله تعالى أعلى وأعلم وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وجزاكم الله خيرا أجمعين. Any questions on this what we took today?
Yes.
تفضل.
One place regarding the changing the Qiblah. they have one masjid in Medina. They call it Masjid al-Qiblah.
Yeah.
What is the word praying there if you get time to go?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I forgot to mention. Yeah, there's no special reward that the Sheikh bin Baz said, rahmatullahi alayh, and other scholars like Sheikh Abdir-Razak Badr. I listened to him today. He said there's no special reward to pray except that comes in the hadith. Okay, which is of course Masjid al-Haram, the best, and then Masjid al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Multiple rewards to pray there. Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, of course, and Masjid Quba. Masjid Quba, there's reward to pray there. The reward of Umrah, reward that you have Umrah if you pray in that masjid. As I mentioned in the Hadith, uh, certain prayer. And as far as the other things they say, visit there's tours. In Medina. There's people who take you on tour. They have their announcing all the time, come with us, the caravan, they take the bus, and all of this is no basis. They go to Uhud, they go to Uhud, sorry, you can make also dua for shuhada, you make dua to any grave, okay, of Muslims. But they go to, for example, ghar, to the cave. There's no virtue to go to the cave, okay? There's nothing. This is a bid'ah. No, the Sahaba didn't go to the cave. The Prophet ﷺ, for example, the one he hid in, or to the one he was used to go to before to the revelation. Uh, the Sahaba didn't go there because this is not to go to these places. There's no sunnah to do it. Okay, rather it leads to shirk. Some people they go and try to get barakah from these places. Okay, and things like that. And no, the barakah is from the worship. We don't get barakah from anything except to do the action. Okay, when Allah says, for example, to touch the black stone. Okay, we're not seeking barakah from the stone. No one should think that we're going to get. No, we get barakah by our ta'a lillah, by our following the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, touch the black stone or kiss the black stone if you can, or point to it, because he said it, and we know Allah said follow him. That's what the barakah comes. Okay, not from the physical object. Therefore, Umar radiallahu anhu is reported, he said, he talked to the stone in front of the people. People were watching. So he gave them a lesson. He said, يخاطب الحجر يقول إني والله إني لأعلم أنك حجر لا تنفع ولا تضر ولولا إني رأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقبلك ما قبلته. He said to the black stone, I know by Allah, you're just a stone. You don't benefit me and you can't harm me. No, Allahu nafi'ud dar. Allah is the one who causes harm or causes benefit. And if not that I saw the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam kiss you, I would never have kissed you. You see, meaning following, ittiba, following the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why we do what we do. We don't do anything except, we saw the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam do it, and there's no blessing except in that. Of course, Zamzam also, we drink it, because the Prophet ﷺ said that there is blessing, and we make dua with it. We make dua upon it, and so on. Now, for example, whatever Allah said, there's blessing in that, we do. But visiting this place and that place, Masjid Qiblatain, there's no blessing in that. Rather, a person would be sinful if he goes there with that intention. من أحدث في أمرنا هذا ما ليس منه فهو رد. Person can pray in any masjid, but if he goes there with that intention that he's going to get blessing, Prophet ﷺ said, whoever does an action that's not based upon this religion of ours is rejected, and rather he's going to get sin when he thinks he's going to get blessing.
Since you said إنما الأعمال بالنيات, but you just want to see things when you go. Yeah, I want to see Mr. I want to see that cave. Just for the intention, just to see and ponder. Is that wrong? Wanting to see, but not in search of benefiting anything from Allah. Just almost like tourism.
Hmm.
Let's say.
I mean, because I mean, it's kind of like uh, why the scholars say that because it leads. You know, a person may have that intention, and that's fine. But yeah, I mean, it's very easy to fall into the trap. Many people before they fell into yani, this innovation, okay, and visiting it now to seek blessings from it. So therefore, the one of the trees, I think Shajarat Ridwan, I think the tree where the Sahaba made the pledge, okay, or meeting, I don't remember exactly. They made for the a great event happened at this tree, great event like the cave, great event. The Sahaba, when they saw people gathering at this tree, I think Omar, if I'm not mistaken, he had it cut down. You see, he had it cut down because it's now opening the door to shirk. You see, so sometimes there's sadd al Allah, many revelations. Allah said, "La taqrabu zina." A person may not commit zina, okay, right? But uh, because this step may lead to that step, may lead to that step, don't get close. You see, yeah. So many things that are legislated for that reason. Maybe someone may look at it and say, I'm not doing anything wrong, but it may lead to that. So that's why, like the shaitan, he played with the Qawm Nuh, right? After their righteous people, they died. Or what are the names of the idols? Waddan, Waddan was these five. Okay, they were who? Righteous men. They died. Okay, and then the children, they were sad because they used to, follow their example. Okay, so the shaitan came to them and said, you should put some pictures or something of the graves of these people so you can remember them, or something, and don't. He didn't tell them worship these images. He just said so you can look at them and ponder, oh, that's my dad. He used to do that. And so I'm going to be worshiping like him because I remember him now. Yeah. So that's what they did. But they didn't do shirk. Then the next generation, they said, Shaitan came to after the children died, the grandchildren or others came, Shaitan came to them and said, آباؤكم كانوا يعبدون هؤلاء هذه الأشجار وهذه العلامات وهذه القبور فعبدوها. So he comes to them and says, it's authentic hadith. He came to them, the next generation, and said, your fathers, they used to worship your grandfathers. They didn't just used to look at the picture. No, they used to go at the grave, and they used to worship. So you should worship too. So they started worshiping, and that's how the shirk started in the mankind by steps. ولا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان. This is خطوات الشيطان. So we have to be careful. He's our enemy. إن الشيطان لكم عدو فاتخذوه عدوا إنما يدعو حزبه أن يكونوا من أصحاب السعير. He's only calling us with this trickery, step by step. So this is the trickery, he does to call people to innovation. And after shirk, the most beloved thing to the shaitan is bid'ah. Because bid'ah, innovation, leads to shirk. Very close. It's not shirk, some types of bid'ah, not shirk. Person goes to the cave, we're not saying he does shirk, but we say it becomes innovation and may lead to shirk. That's the problem. Wallahu alam.
One more question. We can praying at Masjid al-Quba. Some people say if you want the reward for getting Umrah,
Yeah.
you have to come with the wudu.
Yes,
You
that's
cannot take wudu in
that-
the masjid over there to get that.
that's right. There's a hadith. Yeah, specifically, I think that's right. That's mentioned. You have to come upon wudu from your home, with that intention to pray there. Let me see. Does I say it right?
The hadith, whoever do the ablution
to his house and he comes to the masjid, he pray too.
Yes. Yes, that's a hadith Sheikh bin Baz quoted. من تطهر نعم من تطهر في بيته, whoever makes wudu from his house, ثم أتى مسجد قباء فصلى فيه ركعتين كان كعمرة. And then he comes to Masjid Quba and prays 2 rak'ah prayer. It's like he did Umrah. So that's
Now the ruling on that. You flying from any city outside of Saudi Arabia,
ah
you going for Umrah,
hmm.
and then you want to, is it, will you get the benefit of doing also going to Masjid al-Quba and do those 2 rakat time and get also benefit of another Umrah?
Like if you
If you got one travel, you going
yeah
once,
yeah
can you get benefit of 2 Umrah?
yeah oh yeah that's right. You get the reward of Umrah. That's what it says. Yeah. um, but it's not going to be like I don't think it's going to be as much reward as the effort. If you go through the action of the Umrah, that's one thing. That requires a lot of effort. More effort. Sometimes when there's mashaqqa, as the Prophet ﷺ said, ajruki ala qadri mashaqqatuki. Prophet ﷺ said to Aisha that your reward is according to how much difficulty you had to go into. I mean, some worships are more difficult. Hajj, for example, is not like Umrah. Why is Hajj so much more reward? There's a lot more worship, a lot more action that comes, intrinsic, without a person making it on himself. We're not saying a person wants to get extra reward, so he says, I'm going to walk from my house a mile to pray. We're not talking about that difficulty. No, he should take his car. You know, Walking a mile is, too much. This is himself putting up on it. But if there's a difficulty found in the worship itself, naturally, that worship generally has more reward than a worship that has less difficulty involved. So there's levels to Umrah, I could say. Levels you could say. Yeah. Any question? Yeah. But you get Umrah. That's what the hadith says. Yeah. Yeah. Hudayfa, you said your
Yeah. So you could keep going. If you live there, you could keep praying in that same masjid and keep getting such a high reward.
as far as I know, if you want to get the multiple, but you can't. You're not supposed to make more than one Umrah though, physically, except in one visit. The Sahaba, they used to only make one actual, Umrah in the Masjid Haram on one visit. This was Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, he said. He said the sirat of the Sahaba, we know that when they would go to Medina, they would only make one Umrah, the actual Umrah. But as far as other worships, for example, every day you could stay in the masjid from Fajr, until Shuruq, sunrise, pray 2 rakat, and you have reward of Hajj, as in the hadith or Umrah. I forgot. Hajj? Hajj and Umrah every day. A person can do that here, in any masjid. He goes, he prays Fajr in Jama'ah, and he stays making adhkar, reading Quran until sunrise, 7:15, and then waits 10 minutes, 15 minutes, prays rak'atain duha, and then he gets that reward. And he could do it every day. Yeah. طيب, I think time's up. Inshallah, we'll stop there. Allahu alam, jazakallah khair.